Good morning, everybody. For those of you who are joining us live, I'm so glad you're here, able to join us live. For those of you who were not able to catch this live and are watching on the replay, I'm so glad you're taking the time for this. Today, I am going to be, so last week we talked about sales and how sales is not a four-letter word, right? And this week, what we're talking about is earn the trip, get the promotion, and what it takes to earn the trip and or get the promotion, because that's what a lot of us have as the next goal. And so I'm going to talk to you guys about how to do that today. And I do like this to be really interactive. If this is your first webinar with me, please make sure that you have the chat pulled up. Make sure you have it set to all panelists and attendees, so that way the messages you're sending are going to everybody, unless you really only want me to be the one to see it. You also have the option during the course of today's webinar to click on the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen and send a question. You can do so anonymously. So if you have a question, Nicole says she's one away from a promotion. Whoop, whoop, go girl. If you have a question and you don't want me to know who you are and you just want the answer, you can use the Q&A function to ask a question anonymously. But if you want to ask your question out loud, all you have to do is click on participants, and at the bottom of the participant screen, there's a thing that says raise your hand. You can raise your hand. My screen will pop up and show me that you have a question and that's how you let me know that you want to speak out loud. And I can allow you to turn on your microphone and ask me a question out loud. So really excited to do that. When you talk out loud, it will not show your video unless you opt to show your video. You probably, if you're like me and we're joining a webinar, there's a really good chance that you did not get video ready for a recording. So please feel free. It's okay to not turn on your video. It's all right. It's not going to hurt my feelings. It's totally fine. But if you do have a question, make sure you raise your hand. Let's see. Kathy wants to know how you get the replays. Well, Kathy, I am posting the replays on my YouTube channel, and I will post the link to that at the end of today's chat. So that's a great question, Kathy. So I will answer that live, and then make sure I will come back to this question later in order to answer that for you guys at the end of today's presentation. So at this point, I'm going to click that as done, and I will know that it's answered, and I will come back to that in just a little bit. Okay, so let's get started on how to earn the trip and get the promotion. So I'm going to now share my screen. I don't have any sound on anything, so I can do that. All right, so here we go. I want to make sure that all of you have set up the entire hour for this. And so I do have a gift for you at the end of the presentation. So make sure you've got a notebook and a pen ready to write down the information that you need, or have your phone ready to take a screenshot, take a picture of the screen at the end when I show you my gift for you for being here. Because I really appreciate the fact that you're taking time out of your busy Saturday to come join us. Because I know Saturdays are oftentimes for business and or family, and especially with this being a holiday weekend. For those of you watching on the replay, we're recording this on Memorial Day weekend. So I want to make sure that you guys find value and get extra value from being here today. So let me tell you a story. So this is my story. Back in 2010 and 2011, I was 3 months into my business, my own direct sales business. And what was interesting was during that time, I had become one of the top sales people in my uplines organization. So I very vividly remember it was Christmas time. holiday time, and we were having a team meeting at the end of December, early January-ish. And I was the number 2 salesperson in my organization, and I was brand spanking new. I had only been doing it for 3 months, and there were people in our organization who had been doing this for years, years. Um, and so I remember just being like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe that I am number 2." Now, this wasn't for my whole company. This was number 2 for my whole organization. But I want you guys to know that my upline, the person who was number 1 in sales, she's still to this day number 1 in sales for the company. For me to be number 2 and be so brand spanking new, I figured out, okay, I'm really good at sales, except I am really sucking wind in the recruiting department. Okay. In my first 90 days, I had brought on nobody, and I felt like I was doing everything to try and like bring people onto my team, but it wasn't working, right? I was just completely sucking wind at this. Like, I did not understand. I remember having conversations with my mom going, I don't understand. I remember talking to my upline going, I don't get it. And then after talking to my upline with all this frustration and confusion, magically, a few weeks later, I recruited by accident on purpose, which sounds really weird. I know, right? So the story behind this is it was uh, like the third week of January. I had 0 parties in January, because what I didn't know as a brand new person was that the month of January is often so in any given month in throughout the year in direct sales, especially in the party plan world. Um, it's pretty common for about 50% reschedule rate. In January, that number is closer to 75 or 80% reschedule rate. It is awful, right? If you're in the party plan world. And so I had only had 1 or 2 parties booked for January, not realizing this, and they both rescheduled for later in the spring, later in the winter or spring. And so I'm sitting there going, oh my gosh, I got nothing on my books. I have no idea what's going to happen, what's going to go next. And luckily, my upline leader called me one day and said, hey, I've got a party in your area tonight. I'm not going to be able to make it. I'm having car trouble. Can you go do this party for me? And I was like, yeah, how does that work? Because I had never done a dovetail party before. And she tells me, well, you go there, you do the sales, any bookings you get are yours. Anybody that you recruit is yours. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, right. Okay, whatever. I'll totally take the sales, but I'm not going to recruit, right? And so we're talking about the party, talking about the hostess, so that way I can get prepared. And right before we hang up, my upline says, oh, and by the way, I just wanted to let you know the hostess's daughter, she's in her mid to late 20s, and she's thinking about doing the business. And so if you talk to her tonight and if she decides to sign on, she can be your first recruit. And I was like, oh, okay, wow, that's really generous. And she goes, I just have a feeling about tonight. And so we hang up. I call the hostess, introduce myself. We talk a little bit so that way I'm not coming in completely cold to somebody's house I've never met before. And I show up, I do the party, and here's what's interesting. I did walk away with a recruit, but here's what's interesting. It wasn't the hostess's daughter, it was her best friend. So what I learned later, and I'm going to share some of these things with you as we go through this, was that I was not approaching things, number 1, with an all-in attitude, and we'll talk about that. And I also didn't understand the sales process, because guess what? And I'm going to tell you this later. You're going to hear this again later. The opportunity conversation is a sales conversation. So if you missed last week's sales conversation, you want to make sure you go back and rewatch that, because you're going to be able to take that conversation agenda, take that very specific way of having a sales conversation and apply it. Instead of talking about product, talk about the business opportunity, and you'll get very similar results. So let's keep going. Let me tell you a little bit more about me because we do have some new names on here, people who I've never met before who don't know me. So thank you for showing up completely unprepared for who I am. So let me share a little bit about me. My name is Jenny Bellinger. I am a certified professional coach. I have been coaching in the direct sales world since 2011. I spent 7 years in direct sales. I have over 17,000 hours in direct sales experience. During my 7 years, I did earn 9 trips, multiple car bonuses, cash bonuses, jewelry prizes, and at my company, I was internationally ranked number one and number three for recruiting, number one for recruiting and number three for sales. So anything that most people consider as quote unquote successful in direct sales, I pretty much check all the boxes. What I do now in my coaching is I do offer private coaching, small group coaching, and large group coaching. Some of the results that my clients have enjoyed is that they have doubled and or tripled their paychecks in 90 days or less. I have multiple clients who have recruited 10 people in 1 month personally. And so this is something that I know how to teach and I know how to coach. I've been doing workshop training since 2004. I offered team trainings as well. So if you are somebody who already has a team, I'm going to be honest, and you're probably going to see this today. Team training and workshops, this is my superpower. This is my zone of genius. I know how to teach. I know how to have that conversation, and I know how to get results from those educational workshops. Since I've been doing these workshop trainings, I have literally trained thousands of people in various topics. I've been doing public speaking since 1992. So you can tell that this is obviously, I am not scared to be behind a microphone, in front of a microphone, or in front of a crowd. It's a little different right now because it's pretty much just me, but I know that there's a group of you watching, and I certainly have no issue getting up in front of people. I do have a podcast. The podcast is called Badass Direct Sales Mastery. And so if you are a podcast listener, just go to your favorite podcast app and just type in Badass Direct Sales Mastery. Again, that's Badass Direct Sales Mastery. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. I also do have access to my podcast through my digital business card. You can get that one of two ways. You can text my name, Jenny, Jennie, to 64600, or you can open your browser on your phone and type in ezcard.com/Jenny, and that will take you to my digital business card. If you scroll all the way to the bottom of my digital business card, there are instructions on how to save that card on your home screen so you always know how to get a hold of me. In addition, every time I update that Easy Card, it will automatically update on your phone with no push notifications to bug you. But whenever you open it, there's going to probably be something new in there, a new training, a new webinar, a new workshop, a new opportunity for you to get access to the information and the value that I have to offer you. So enough about me. Let's keep going. So first things first, we need to have a mindset shift. Did you know that a majority of direct sales representatives don't even talk about their top product? They don't even mention it sometimes. Now, here's where I want you to pull up the chat, and you can either type this directly to me, a panelist, or put it into panelists and attendees and tell me, what is your top product? Like I said, this is interactive. So in the chat, type in your top product. This is so fun to watch because you can tell the people who are my clients because they've heard this before. Yeah, I see so many different things here, right? So I'm going to give you a hint. Okay. I'm going to give you a hint. Your upline leader, I guarantee your upline leader talked about the top product with you. And you know how I know that? Because her top product, assuming that your upline is a woman, and there's a 76% chance that I'm right, your upline leader has the same top product that you do. And your top product is the business opportunity. So it looks like about half of you had the right answer in there. So many people don't think about the business opportunity as a product, and that's why they never talk about it. We are so focused on the thing we sell or things that we sell that we don't think about the business opportunity because it's not necessarily a tangible thing, with the exception of the kit, right? It's not a tangible thing that we can touch and taste and feel, right? The business opportunity is this nebulous thing. And so not many people think about it as a product, but I really want you to start understanding that it is your number one product, because when you bring on the right people to your team, it will make you more money than selling all the Lash Boost, Coochie Cream, deluxe air fryers that exist in the whole wide world. Because the bringing the right people onto the team and helping them become successful in direct sales is what actually will make you more money, because that's where that residual extra income comes from, when you're literally making money in your sleep or while you're watching Netflix, right? So your top product is the business opportunity. So, was that a mind blower for some of you? Like, are you having like major, like, holy crap moments? Good. I'm glad to see that. That's good. Okay. So, oops, I got to move my chat out of my way. So you do have two products. You have the business opportunity and your company product, right? So I'm going to tell you two stories about the business opportunity. The first story is one that happened when I was at a team training with my upline, and we were having the business opportunity conversation. And there was somebody in the room who was sitting there. She had her arms crossed and she was leaning back in her chair, and she had this real, like, sour look on her face. And every time we talked about it, she was just huffing and puffing and like she couldn't believe she was there. And finally, the gal who was running the training, you know, in a very kind way said, you know, it looks like you don't want to recruit, that you don't want to be here. And the gal was just like, I'm not going to recruit. I'm not going to be that person. I'm not going to sit here and talk other people into doing this. And like, she was talking like it was the worst thing on earth, right? And the gal who was running the opportunity, or the training, she goes, so what you're telling me is you are willing to take people's money, but you're not willing to help them make money? And in that moment, you could literally watch her face change, because she was like, oh my gosh, right? That was a major paradigm shift for her, to have that moment of, oh my gosh, I'm taking other people's money, but I'm not willing to help them make money. And the trainer continued on to say, has this been a wonderful experience for you, a wonderful opportunity for you? Has this changed your life? Has this changed your family's way of living? And the woman was like, yeah, absolutely. And she's like, so why wouldn't you want to share that with others? And from that moment on, That woman started having the conversations. She started bringing people into the business because she totally shifted the way she thought about it, which shifted the way she talked about it. Because, well, number one, she was actually talking about it now. The second story I want to tell you is when I had my own mindset shift around the recruiting and sponsorship opportunity. I had sponsored somebody into the business, and she was not my first person. She was not my 10th person. She was probably the 15th or 20th person I had personally brought into the business. So I was probably about maybe 3 years in. And when I brought this gal in, she had been a hostess for a party with me. And I had the conversation with her, obviously, and she said she wanted to do this. And very quickly, she became one of the top salespeople on my team. And she was regularly like right up there with me in the amount of sales, which was unusual. Most of my team members were doing approximately a third to maybe a half of what I was doing. And this gal was regularly at 75, 80, sometimes 95% of what I was personally doing. She really kept me on my toes because, I wanted to make sure if I'm going to be a leader, I gotta know the way, I gotta show the way, right? So during this time, I'm just loving on her, like saying, "Oh my gosh, this is you're just killing it with this. This is amazing. I congratulations." And I was just completely loving on her. And one day, about 7 or 8 months into her business, she calls me up and she says, "Hey, I just want to let you know that I'm about to disappear for a little while, and I didn't want you to worry about me, but I have to change my phone number, and I'm not going to be able to sell anymore. So I just wanted to thank you for this opportunity." And I was just absolutely flabbergasted. I was like, "Wait, I'm sorry, what? What did I miss? What happened?" And she went on to tell me that the reason she had joined the business, the reason she had jumped on this opportunity was because she was in an abusive marriage. She had two little girls that she decided she was not going to let them watch her get beat anymore. Sorry, I still get emotional about this because she's still a friend of mine. And she had been doing the business in secret all 7 or 8 months and had been stowing that money aside so that she could safely disappear for a while, get through the divorce, get her and her daughters safe. And that's when I realized that this opportunity is so much bigger than me. And it was no longer about me to offer that opportunity and to help people be successful, that there were people who were not sharing their real reasons why they were doing it. And if I didn't share that opportunity, there could be people out there who wouldn't be able to do what this woman did. So that was a huge, huge eye-opening experience for me. And while I hope that you never have to deal with helping a teammate to be safe, knowing that you have an opportunity that could provide a way out is extremely powerful to know that. So I just want to share with that because I want you to understand the power of the opportunity that you have. I don't care what company you're with. There are people out there who need it. They just don't know you exist yet. So the next mindset shift has to do with leadership. The number one reason why or I shouldn't say the number one of the top 5 reasons why people do not share the opportunity is because they don't feel comfortable as a leader. They don't think they can lead a group. So they choose not to even lead one person. So the way you get around that is really starting to learn to lead yourself first. And the way you do that is by following your leader or your chosen mentor or coach. They will help you get further down the path. They will help you establish your system. And then when you're further down the path, you can begin to bring someone along. And depending on how long you have been in business, you are probably already further along than somebody who's never done this before, right? John Maxwell says leaders know the way, go the way, show the way, right? Leadership does not mean you have to be number one in your company to bring people in. You just have to be further down the path than those who are in front of you. And my own coach, Scott Conway, says, if I don't follow you, or I'm sorry, if you don't follow you, why should I follow you? So if you're not already leading yourself, following a system to build your business through sales and through sponsorship, why would anybody else want to follow you if you're not following you? So now I'm going to teach you guys the 6 C's of successful sponsoring. Now, the difference between recruiting and sponsoring, those are 2 very different concepts. So you're going to hear me talking about sponsoring because I don't believe in recruiting. And depending on how long this whole thing goes, I may have time to address that difference later. But I want to teach you guys about the 6 C's of successful sponsoring. Now, these are not my C's. I found them from another coach in the direct sales world. His name is Steve Taubman. So I'm giving credit where credit is due. This is not my information, but once I found it, I was like, I can't say it any better than he does. So I'm certainly going to go ahead and share this and give him credit. So the 6 C's of successful sponsoring. Number 1, character. Number 2, commitment. Number 3, certainty. Certainty. Number 4, compassion. Number 5, connectedness. And number 6, clarity. Character, commitment, certainty, compassion, connectedness, and clarity. So now we're going to go into each one of these in a little bit more depth. So let's start with character. Character, of course, is your integrity. This is do what you say you're going to do, right? I've already brought up my coach, Scott Conway. He lives by something called the Makoto principle, which is you don't say it unless you are committing to do it. So unless he 100% knows that he can do X, Y, or Z, he will not say it. He will not commit to something. He might say maybe, right? But he will not say, I will do that unless he 100% knows that he has scheduled time to do it, has the ability to do it, and can follow through, right? So integrity, do what you say you're going to do, right? Because it's really easy to say things, whereas taking action requires effort and energy. So if you have no intention of making the effort or utilizing the energy to take the action, don't say you're going to do it, right? Another part of character are your core values. Roy Disney says it's not hard to make decisions when you know what your values are, right? If you know what your values are, decisions are easy, super easy. So, do you even know what your core values are? I do an exercise with my clients that helps them clearly identify their core values when they're ready to start sponsoring. The second C of successful sponsoring is commitment. This means you are all in. You're taking all of the poker chips and you're putting in. You are not holding back. This is a commitment to business. This is a commitment to yourself, a commitment to your family and the people, and finally, a commitment to the people who need the product and business opportunity that you have to offer. So what this means is it's not I'm going to try. One of the quotes I grew up with hearing all the time was from Master Yoda. Do or do not, there is no try. You do it or you don't do it. That's all there is to it, right? So your commitment to your business, your commitment to your clients and customers, your commitment to your team is an all-in commitment. And this is definitely possible to give 100% in all different areas of life. You just can't do it all at the same time. Okay? The example I like to give is that when I brought someone on to my team, I fully committed to them. I said, I'm not going anywhere. I am here for you, which I'm sure many of you are like, but you're not doing the business anymore. You're right. And I'm still committed to those people. The people who were on my team when I was in my business, when I left my business and moved them under other leaders in the same company, I still committed to them, and I am still in conversations with them who are still active, and even those who aren't active. We still have a relationship, and if they have a question, they know they can reach out to me at any time to answer that question, and I'm going to do it because I committed to them when they joined the team, and I am still to this day committed to them, that they know that I'm going to answer their questions. And if I don't know the answer to the question, I'm going to find the answer to the question for them. So commitment. The third one is certainty. In order for you to be a successful sponsor, you need to know your products. You need to know your company, know the company's story. What's the history of the company? What are the company values? What's the company mission? What's the company vision statement, right? Who's the CEO or CEOs of your company? Like, get to know about your company. Know your compensation plan. If you don't know your compensation plan, that's going to hold you back from successfully sponsoring, because when people ask you a question, you get the deer in the headlights look. Right? We all feel more confident when we know the answer. So become familiar with your compensation plan. Now, here's the thing. It doesn't mean you have to know all 15 pages of it. You don't have to know all 15 pages of it. You need to know the basic definitions of the vocabulary that is in the compensation plan. You need to know what it's going to take. Number one, how did you get where you are now? Because there are people, there are companies where you can accidentally promote, right? That's what happened to me. I had no idea how to promote in my business until my leader was like, you realize that if you have like $150 more in sales in the next week, you're going to promote. I was flabbergasted. I had no idea. That was my first promotion. Completely did it on accident until I realized I had $150 left. And I was like, that's easy. I can do that in a couple of orders, right? So I, at that point, was like, I need to know the compensation plan, right? But what I realized is I didn't have to know the whole thing. I just wanted to know, okay, what does it take to get to the second level and the third level, right? So once I got to the second level, then I made sure I knew the third and the fourth level, right? You always want to know 2 levels ahead of you. So that way you have your eye on the next prize after you hit the next prize, right? Because if you're not planning out for what's going to happen after that, what often happens is you end up reaching that goal and you go, and you sit back and you stop working for like a month because you're exhausted. Well, if you don't have your eye on the next prize, there's no impetus to keep working. And while I don't think you need, I do believe in the value of recognition and celebration of your achievements, I also know that you don't want to sit back on your laurels at any point in time. I don't care what business you're in, whether you're selling shoes, selling oils, selling makeup, selling whatever. It doesn't matter. Take some time to celebrate and then get your eyes on the next prize. So know your compensation plan. But the most important part of this, the key to all of this, is knowing that you are worthy of success. I can't see you right now, and I may not know who you are, but I know that you are worthy of success. There is not a tiny bit of doubt in me that doesn't think you are worthy of success. 100% of me knows that each and every one of you who is here is worthy of success. Because I don't know if you're a believer in a higher power or some universal energy, but you were not put here to be mediocre. And in fact, you are not only letting yourself down, but you're letting your family down. You're letting your sisters in your business down. You're letting your team members down. You're letting your clients down. You're letting your customers down if you are doing anything less than what is worthy of success. Luckily, at this point, you have a choice now. I know this is shocking, you have a choice to choose whether you feel worthy or not. Now, I know that some of you who are feeling less than worthy at the moment are probably saying to yourself, well, there's a lot more to this than that. And I agree. I don't think this is an easy choice to switch over if you haven't been in a position of believing that you are worthy. And I also know that it's a decision that you do get to make, that you are worthy of success. You are worth following, so follow yourself. The next C in the 6 C's of successful sponsoring is compassion. Compassion counterbalances certainty, because certainty without compassion comes off as cocky, and nobody wants that C, right? Compassion counterbalances certainty, right? I'm sure some of you have had a conversation with someone before who was absolutely certain that you needed to be in her business. You needed to join her team. And she had zero compassion for the fact that you didn't give a crap about her product. It wasn't a passion. So when there's no compassion, that certainty comes across in a very unpleasant way, right? So the way you develop compassion and begin to show compassion for the people that you're having the opportunity conversation with is you make sure that you understand what they are feeling. Put yourself back in your own shoes when you were recruited, when you got sponsored. What were you feeling at that time? So I want you guys to go back in that and think about, what were you feeling at the time that you started your business when they were having that conversation with you? And would you share in the chat some of the feelings that you experienced as they were having that conversation with you? I'm going to use that opportunity to take a sip. Yeah, nervous, excited, wondering if you can do it. Yeah, keep going. Uncertainty. Yeah, this is good. Keep going. What else were you feeling? Fear. Yeah. Yeah, that's a big part of it. Freaked out. Uh, Crystal says she feels and felt and still feels a little too awkward. Guess what? We all feel that way, right? Yeah, absolutely. Right. Unsure and excited, right? Because we all have, you wouldn't have done it if you didn't have that little bit of excitement and the excitement came from the possibilities that were now open to you, right? That's where the excitement comes from, is you go, oh, all the opportunities, all the possibilities. And that in itself can sometimes also not only get you excited, but also have you feeling overwhelmed, right? So make sure that when you're having the conversation with somebody that you're addressing their feelings. And the easiest way to do that, let's see. Uh, okay, Tammy says she didn't want to disappoint her team because her upline is also her cousin. There you go. Right. So the way that you show compassion during that opportunity conversation is you ask them how they're feeling. Ask them how they're feeling. And here's the key: you don't stop at accepting their first answer. Because when we step into something new, there are many swirling emotions going on, right? As you can tell from all the answers that we had pop up here. So I recommend that you try to get at least 3 to 5 emotions from them. And the easiest wording that you can use as you're talking to them after you ask them, okay, how are you feeling right now? Right? You're doing a check in with them as they're going through those feelings. If they stop at, I'm nervous and excited, this is where you can also say, I imagine that you might also be feeling, and then put in a couple of emotions that fit in there as well. You might be feeling freaked out. You might be feeling awkward or uncertain. You might be wondering if you can really do this, right? Help help them begin to get in touch with those feelings, and then address those concerns, address those feelings, because you've been in the business long enough now to say, I felt the same way, and I still sometimes feel the same way, and I do it anyway. Because keeping in mind, now you're going to work on giving them courage. That just came out of my head right now. Like, yes. You're going to give them courage, because you can't have courage if there isn't fear. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is feeling the fear and doing it anyway. And you're there to hold their hand and help them through it. And if you don't choose to be the leader to do that, take them to your leader, the leader that you follow, and help and connect them, which is really awesome, because that's the next piece. Connectedness. You want to connect with this person. What do you guys have in common? Are you dog lovers? Do you both like golf? Are you foodies? Do you both do CrossFit? Do both of you have the same color, same favorite color, for example, purple? Are you a military brat? Are you a farmer's kid? Were you both pastors' kids? Like, what do you guys have in common? So that's the first part of connectedness. The second thing is connect them to others on your team. So if you've already started sponsoring people, if you already have a team, if they're having trouble make a decision, hand select someone from your team that they can interview and give them some questions to ask, right? Give the prospect a few questions that they can ask your hand selected team member to interview them, right? How is Jenny as a leader, right? Ask the question, you know, are you getting sales and bookings and getting team members yourself? Is Jenny helping you learn how to do that, right? Because all of these questions are going to be about you as a leader from the perspective of one of your team members. If you don't have team members yet, connect with someone else on your team who is also looking to recruit, and help each other out and say, hey, we've known each other for 6 months, 8 months, a year, 2 years without either one of us really recruiting. So how about we partner up and help each other out by saying, okay, I would love to connect you to my sister in, name your company here, right? And help connect them and give them another person that they realize who's going to become a team member of theirs, right? Connectedness. And finally, clarity. You need to have clarity about who you are, clarity about who you are looking for. Now, keep in mind, who you are goes back to the values proposition that we talked about earlier, knowing your core values, what matters most to you. Make sure you know who you are looking for. Again, by knowing your core values, you know to look for those values in others as well, because like attracts like. And even if they have different values, but they're complementary values, that's still a benefit to have on the team, and knowing those kinds of things. Knowing what questions to ask them and actions to observe. So the questions you want to ask are going to be are things that are going to help you begin to understand who this person is, what their values might be. Because again, keep in mind, it's easy for them to say the right things, but you also want to be listening for what they are and aren't saying. And keep an eye on actions to observe, because many times we are sponsoring people who have been customers or clients for a while, and we've been able to watch them and see, are they coachable? Do they have leadership qualities? Do they enjoy being around other people? Do they seem like they could become a salesperson, right? Or are they already a good salesperson in their job, right? So looking for those actions that you can observe, because again, we are what we do, and we are rarely what we say. And I know a secret seventh C that Steve Taubman doesn't talk about. Are you ready to learn it? Post in the chat if you want to know the secret seventh C. All right. We got enough people who are saying yes, yes, yes. Okay. But first, I want to offer my gift to you, because I promised you guys a gift if you stayed this whole time. So here's my gift. I am offering a values masterclass where I am going to take you through the values exercises that I do with my clients. So this is an exercise that my clients pay to be a part of. And all of you who are on are going to get the opportunity to participate in this values masterclass at no charge. Now, when you do go look at the values masterclass, when I email you the link, you're going to see that there is a charge for a ticket, but I'm going to give you a code that will let you access that at no additional charge for you. So during that, we're also going to be talking about what specific behaviors to watch for, and we're going to develop an action plan to actually help you grow your team with values-aligned team members. So what you're going to do is you're going to send me an email to jenny@levelupcoachllc.com. So this is the point where you guys take out your phone and take a picture of the ticket here. In the subject line, you're going to say values masterclass code, please. And in the body of the message, you're going to put in there, please send me the code for my free values masterclass ticket. I'm with, and then put your company name. So that way I know which company you're with, because I like to make sure the people who I'm working with, I can begin to use their company's language with them, talk about their product, talk about their comp plan, all those things, because I've worked with over 30 different direct sales companies. And if you're on the line, there's a really good chance I've worked with someone in your company and I know the language you guys use. So this is my free gift to you. So make sure you send me that, and I will get you by the end of Memorial Day, because after today, I am taking time. After this class, I'm taking time off from work. So I promise on Tuesday, I will send you the ticket code for your free masterclass. It is going to be happening on Saturday, June the 6th at 10 a.m. If it turns out you already have something booked for that day, what I'll just let me know in the body of the message if June the 6th doesn't work for you. If we have enough people that's a problem for, I will add another date later in June for you guys to be able to participate. So I really, again, it means a lot to me that you guys are here on a Saturday morning learning all of this, and I want to give you more value. So the 7th C for successful sponsoring, just like I promised. The 7th C, create community. Be a community creator. And if you want to know how to create community, because there is a process, and there's a process to do it right and do it right every time, I'm going to show you guys how to do that next week. So make sure you come back here Saturday, May the 30th at 10 a.m. Central Time, same Zoom link, and bring your team with you, because we're going to begin to show you guys how to create community. And I'm not exaggerating, I have for you guys a gift that is worth $397. This is something that I personally paid $397 to learn, and I'm going to give it to you for free next week. So make sure you come back next week and bring people with you, because this is worth $400 that you're going to get next week as the gift. So now, again, I want to connect the dots for you from the sales conversation that we had last week. Sponsoring is a sales conversation. So you're going to get to know them. You're going to build relationship, and you're going to offer the opportunity if it is best for them, and respect their boundaries. If they say no, not right now, or no, never, right? That's okay. So the sales conversation, sponsoring is a sales conversation as well. So I want you to know that the sales conversation that we talked about last week is a skill set that's going to work for you to not only increase your sales, it will also help you grow your team when you just replace product with business opportunity. So I hope that you guys found a lot of value from today. And this is the point where we have for you guys to ask questions about sponsoring. And I know there was someone. Oh, you wanted to know how to get the replays, Kathy. I'm coming back to that. Okay. So while you guys are either typing in questions about sponsoring, or you might even be thinking to yourself, okay, this was called How to Earn the Trip, How to Earn the Promotion. Have you guys made the connection that the way you earn the trip and the way you earn the promotion is sponsoring? And doing so in a real and authentic way. That's how you earn the trip and earn the promotion, right? Along with sales, obviously. Many companies have a connection between sales and sponsoring as a way to earn a trip or earn a promotion. All right. Nicole asks, how do you follow up with potential boss babes without just sending them kit sales every time? Well, again, this is the build relationship portion, right, Nicole? So this is where you are getting to know who they are, connecting with them in very authentic ways outside of the business. If you are only reaching out to people, and when it has to do with your business, again, this is that whole approaching people with dollar signs in your eyes, then it's going to be a lot harder for them to see you as someone other than a salesperson, right? So make sure you're connecting with them in many different ways, because it's called social media for a reason, right? You want to actually be social. Just so you know, I literally just interviewed a social media consultant, and she is going to be on my podcast on Monday, June the 1st, and she is offering an amazing deal to teach you how to do exactly what you're talking about, Nicole. So make sure you guys subscribe to the Badass Direct Sales Mastery podcast, because on Monday, June 1st, you'll get to hear an interview with a social media consultant who's going to answer that question a little bit, but then you really get all of the answers in her offering to listeners of the podcast. And I don't want to give it away quite yet. So you do want to make sure that you listen to the podcast in 10 days. So 8 days, 9 days, something like that. I don't know. June 1st, whenever that is. So, any other questions? What other questions do you guys have? Because what I'm going to do is I am going to advance the slide one more while you type out questions, because I do want to make sure that you have ways to connect with me if you're someone who never met me before and magically somehow ended up on this webinar today. You have access to my email, which is jenny@levelupcoachllc.com. You can text my name to 64600 to get my digital business card, and make sure you scroll all the way to the bottom of the business card to save the card to your home screen. Follow the video that teaches you how to do it. You can also friend me on Facebook. I'm on Facebook as Jenny Bellinger. And make sure you like and follow Level Up Coaching LLC on Facebook to make sure you don't miss out on any great other future events that I'm offering as well. So Kathy asked, how do we get the replay? So now I'm going to stop my share, because we are now pretty much an hour in. So yay, this lasted exactly an hour. Yay. And I am going to pull up my YouTube channel so I can share with you guys the link to the Brunch and Learn series. Oh, Marcy, thank you. That's so sweet of you to say. I'm so glad that you guys found value from that. Okay, so let's see. Did I set up? Yes, I did. Okay. So here is, I'm getting ready to put in the chat the link to the Brunch and Learn webinar series, the recordings, so you can go back and watch it. Hopefully you should be able to copy and paste that, or you can email me and ask for that, and I will send you the replay for that so you can get the sales is not a 4-letter word webinar from last week. So Kathy, were you able to, let's see, I will also type the answer. I'll also put it in here so I can make sure that you get so it's in the chat, and I put it in the Q&A section, the link to the Brunch and Learn series on my YouTube channel. Oh, Nicole, you're welcome. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. And we are literally at 59 minutes. If I really, again, I want to emphasize my appreciation for you guys, that you took time out of your Saturday on a holiday weekend to be here, to invest in yourself and your business, because time is an investment and I appreciate it. And I want to make sure that I am always offering the most possible value to my clients and to the people who are attending my workshops and webinars, including you. So please make sure that you register, share the Zoom link, share the webinar link. I'm going to put that in the chat if you want to share this with other people. So it is a bit.ly link, so you can easily remember. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with bit.ly links, you have to make sure that all of the capitalizations and lowercase are exactly right, because it really does matter, because they create, so there could potentially be someone else who has a Brunch and Learn series that's all lowercase. I don't know, but you want to make sure you do the Brunch and Learn series with capital BNLS. for Brunch and Learn series. This is the Brunch and Learn series. So thank you guys. Please make sure you share that out because we do have room for approximately 40 more registrations before next week. Next week are the keys to direct sales success, which include some information and some training on how to create community, and where I'm going to be giving away $400 worth of value, because this is something that I personally paid $397 about 2 years ago to learn how to do. And the coach that I paid that money to is offering to gift you guys the same information for free. But you got to be here next week in order to see it. So thank you so much for being here. I have so enjoyed this today. Being here with you guys really energizes me. That, like I said, this is my zone of genius, my superpower. One of my favorite things to do is to help people have a huge mindset shift and learn how they can now take that information and turn it into action. So thank you guys so much. Please enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Have a safe Memorial Day weekend. As a military brat, I like to remind people Memorial Day is about the veterans who have lost their lives, or that are active duty members who have lost their lives in service of our country. So keep that in mind. Keep those people in mind who have served our country and paid the ultimate price. So please have a safe, enjoyable Memorial Day weekend, and I will see you guys next Saturday. Bye.